Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is June Liu. How you doing, June?
I'm doing good.
So today we are talking about the Saga Short Tales Tomo 4 L.O.V. This is a figurado 4 by 44. Comes out of the De Los Reyes factory in the Dominican Republic. The wrapper is Ecuadorian Indonesia. Binder is San Vicente, and the filler is Pilero Cabano Mejorado and Pennsylvania Visos. Blender is undisclosed. The price is unknown as of yet. Cigar was released in July of 2017. So, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
Prelate was good. It's as true to his name and being short tails and kind of what the series is going after. It's a little petite little cigar. Darker brown wrapper shade, major veins well pressed, seems tight. Aside from like near the cap, I had this big old raised part, but not a big deal because after I cut it, doing the pre-light notes, there wasn't any issues with it. So, speaking of pre-light notes, smelling the wrapper, I got barnyard baking spices, cedar. Smelling the foot, it was kind of hard to smell since it's a tapered foot. So I essentially just smelled the wrapper again.
Yeah.
Uh, Baking spice, cedar, white pepper. Oh, big surprise. And cold draw white pepper and cedar. So overall, it was a good presenter cigar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same as you. I mean, I got kind of a funky barnyard note from the wrapper, but you can't get anything from the foot because it's so small. And the pre-light draw was really tight, so I didn't get much out of it from there. So, take us through your flavor profile.
First third, is really good. So that little nut part, that nipple or whatever you want to call it, the tapered part, I got just an abundance of black coffee. So I was actually hoping that I would just get that the rest of the cigar, but I didn't.
Mhm.
So after that, that tapered portion, I started getting cedar, cardboard, baking spices, sharp white pepper, intermittent notes of chestnuts, which is, I mean, I just named off what five, six flavors out of a little thin cigar like this. I think that's pretty amazing. I think it's worth noting that it's pretty great to get something like that, right? On the retro,
Yeah.
surprising amount of white pepper pulling through, as well as the sharp cedar coming through as well. Finished medium length with bread and white pepper, strength and body medium. On the second third, it showed the like a tale of earth and minerals. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Okay. So white pepper, cardboard, cedar, baking spices, chestnuts, all comes through very well on its own, and as a whole together, it was delicious as well. I thought the black coffee started to kind of make a comeback as well. Strength of body unchanged at medium. Last third shows earth and minerals, still showing earth and minerals really. So white pepper, cardboard, cedar, baking spices, chestnuts, black coffee. It's starting to get a little strong, almost nearing that medium full mark. And body say medium. So all in all, it was a really quick cigar, but it was tasty.
Yeah, for me, as the nipple was burning, it was taking a lot of very deliberate draws to get some smoke, but it did produce a mix of very charred wood and cinnamon. As the cigar kind of burned past that nipple, then most of the char had went away, and the wood note had a nicer profile to it. Cinnamon note was really very faint at that point. 3/4 of an inch in, a little cream joined that slightly charred wood and the faint cinnamon. Retrohale was like a slightly charred wood, and strength in the first third was slightly above medium. Getting in the second third, cream and cinnamon left the profile, and just that charred wood note remained. 1/4 inch in, some of that cinnamon was kind of very faint, came back in the background. A little bit more, and some of that cream returned as well. Retrohale was kind of a creamy and charred wood note, and then an inch in, that cream and the cinnamon dropped back out of the profile, even just the kind of that slightly charred oak note. As the third keynote closed, that profile gained a kind of a buttery type slickness to it, along with that slightly charred wood. So that was pretty nice, and the strength was still at that slightly above medium mark. Getting the final third, that buttery charred wood note kind of continued on with the addition of a little bit of faint black pepper in the background. 1/4 inch in, that buttery note went away, and the charred wood and the pepper remained. 3/4 of an inch in, a little bit of cream kind of came back to the profile as the cigar was starting to heat up a little bit. And that's kind of how the cigar finished out. Strength remained at that slightly above medium mark. So take us through your construction on this cigar.
I rated both the burn and draw good. So what that means for our scale is amazing, very good, and good, right? So it was no major complaints, but there was some blemishes, I guess you could say. So a couple minor top coats were required. I mean, typically I'm not really, I don't really like knock it down too much, but if you're looking at a cigar that's 4 inches in length and I have to touch it up twice, it's kind of annoying. Other than that, slightly wavy burn line, firm ash marks, cool burn. The draw I thought was good, but problems in the sense that it was tight. And I cut it all the way down to that very last cap of the strand, and then it yielded any resolve. So, but overall, a decently good construction.
Yeah, for me the burn was spot on. I mean, it was razor sharp the entire way. Kind of a feat with the shape of this cigar. Didn't none of the ring gauge transitions caused any havoc. So ash dropped once right around the kind of the 2.5 inch mark. Other than that, it was really great. In regards to the burn, wasn't that great. It's fairly tight the entire way. Kind of the experience I had with at the nipple part where I was really trying to get some smoke. I thought it was just going to be right there at that small ring gauge, but it kind of carried on the entire way. I even used a draw tool, and that didn't have any improvement at all on it. So, what was your overall thoughts on the cigar?
I like the cigar. I mean, it's there's not that many little petite cigars like this out there, and especially with something that is so thin ring gauge, such as these short tails. The wrapper, I think especially needs to be pretty good, right? So in this case, I thought the wrapper was really flavorful. And it's definitely worth your while spending a good, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes smoking one of these things. But like with most small ring gauge cigars, you want to smoke this slow. And to the extent that you do that, you'll get rewarded, I think, with the actual flavors that it's meant to be, coming across. And also, since you and I both had construction issues with this, especially on my burn issues, it's not something that you want to like take a full on torch and torch the shit out of it. Like you'll probably torch the entire 4 inches if you do that.
Right.
And I had to watch out or something like that. I actually used my like little soft flame and I had to like barely touch it up. So I guess it's delicate in that sense, right? But for the flavors, I think it's worth going after it.
Yeah, I mean, this is another unique one. I mean, we smoked the Tomo 3, which I really liked. This one also produces some unique flavors, has a unique shape to it. I mean, the kind of that buttery slickness was just, it's not something I get in a lot of cigars. So that was nice. I just wish that was present more of the cigar. And I just wish the draw wasn't so tight. I mean, it's kind of I don't know, it just kind of was a hassle to me. And I just felt like on a cigar this small, this short, like you don't have a lot of room to play around with. I mean, if you make too hard of pulls on this thing, you're gonna scorch the tobacco, and you're just gonna get a lot of bitterness and things like that. So, that kind of put me off a little bit. Um, Smoking the number 3 and the number 4 has me looking forward to the number 5. I mean, I think that this is a pretty successful line so far. So I'm very interested to see. So I'm glad you had a little bit better experience with me in regards to the draw and stuff like that. So it didn't have much of a detriment on the flavors. But if subsequent samples can have a better draw to them, I think this can be one that really shines as well. So getting the scores, I gave it a 5.65. You gave it a 6.67. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
Match up well. I mean, I like to focus on within the mid sixes part. The focus of that should be it's a good tasting cigar for me, right? That it's unfortunately, decent for the most part, decent construction. So, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, mine matches up with my experience as well. I mean, I thought the second third was the best part because that's where that buttery slickness kind of came in. Had the biggest presence. I just think that the draw just had a little bit too much of an effect on this one. So I think one that had better draw would have better experience. Maybe the flavors kind of do a little bit better throughout, but mine matches up right. Any other final thoughts from you on this?
It's these are tart, right? Like there's a reason why there's not many thin ring gauge cigars being made out right now, right? Like because they're hard to roll, they're hard to bunch, they're hard to roll, right? So it's the feat by itself to create such small ring gauge cigars. But if done right, it creates such flavor bombs. But of course, the opposite of it is you risk having tight draws and construction issues in general. So,
Yep.
And that's kind of like the story of kind of what I just said within the cigar for you and I both.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep,
know.
exactly. All right, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.